Hey guys, this is KiwiiGamesTCG coming out with you with a deck profile for Darklord Melodious. I talked about how we can play a different version of the deck. Maybe you don't want to lock yourself, you want to do something a little bit more links oriented. Well, here it is. This is, like I said, Darklord Melodious. Ostinato is a crazy one-card starter, and you have multiple options here if you need to have it. You have multiple options with Ostinato and Refrain. If you don't open up the Dejity or a way to get into it, you have a way to get into it. Also, you are playing more fairy targets, so Herald works very, very well. And pair it up with the Fallen of the Virtuous. Sometimes that comes up with our own combo, where let's say you need to get Concerto in the graveyard and you're going to send Baka or link it off to the draw. You could do some very interesting combos, but I want to show a one-card combo with Ostinato. However, you typically want to have an extra card to get rid of. So let's go ahead and do solo mode, and I'll show you what Ostinato does on its own. So you ideally want to have a second card, but if you don't, this is pretty busted. So you're going to open up Ostinato. You're going to dump the two refrains. Important to note here, with Ostinato, Baka, they'd have to imperm or Veiler you. If they Ash, it does not stop the Baka. So very important to note. So you'll declare the Baka. You will summon your last refrain from deck. Refrain will trigger, declare. You'll add the couplet. When you get to the couplet, now you're going to reveal. It doesn't target, so you just special. And now you will couplet. Now, a lot of the Melodious combos, you have to do it in sequence. Otherwise, you can't do certain things. Will let you search the Concerto. And now you will use the Concerto. So this is what I was talking about with Fallen. You can use Concerto. If you had Fallen, you would destroy the Concerto, go to the graveyard. So when Baka goes at the end of the chain, you will then draw one. For the Concerto, it will trigger and you can chain block with it. So it's very good. So you're going to send the Baka. You're going to send the Baka, the couplet, and one of the refrains. Try to send the one that's not in the middle square here. You want to leave yourself some options. So I always summon Etoile here. And now what's going to happen is you will trigger the Baka. Melodious Concerto has to be in the grave before the Baka hits, so that won't work as well. But now you can activate Refrain and couplet, so you can chain block. You'll do Baka 1, Refrain 2, couplet 3. So there's really not anything that they can do in this aspect. So I don't know why this isn't showing properly. So let's put it to the spell and trap. There we go. That ad went away. I guess not. All right. So big thing is now we're resolving. We're summoning here. So what happens is you're going to want a second card, because you're going to want to go into Condemned, and then with the Condemned, you'll pitch and get the Dejity, and then you use a bow pitch to Dejity to summon it. So you haven't used your normal summon at all, which is really crazy. Sometimes I will get drolled in the previous combo, and I will end with Herald and SP. So that'll at least cover interruption, and it'll also prevent them having a monster on board. So if you get drolled, the droll will happen when you search the refrain, and like I said, you'll have at least some more options. It's not like it kills your turn entirely. So in this particular case, what I want to do is I need an extra card in my hand, and we can bring a 12 back later. So we're going to send this to the extra deck. We're going to send this to the grave, and we'll summon Condemned. Now what ends up happening is Concerto will trigger, Doesn't matter what you draw. You'll draw a card. And now you'll use Condemned, and you will grab the Dejity. Now, you can Pendulum Summon now. You can't Pendulum Summon the Dejity, but you can Pendulum Summon the Refrain. Instead of going into more extra deck stuff and wasting it, you will go into the Beat Cop. You have to have a Fiend type link for a bow. So now you will link both of these off into a bow. And if you had an extra card, you could just bring a Twal back at this point and then normal summon the Dejity. So a lot of cool things you can do. In this case, we're operating as we just have just the Ostinato. We top decked it. That's all we got. So we send the Ostinato to grave, and then we'll summon the Dejity, and then Dejity will be full Darklord combo with the lock. So you'll end up doing the same combo you normally do, which is you summon the tokens, summon this. In this case, you want to go Rahamu. You've already used your Condemned, so Golgolette will then trigger. You grab your Fusion, Darklord Dance to Fusion. And now you will go ahead and use both the tokens. You will now summon Evening Star. Evening Star will now set. Again, I always set Rebellion. In this case, you want to use set Banishment because you haven't used it yet. Now, one of the interesting things you can do with Banishment and also Dejity, if you want to banish Dejity, grab the Golgolette and then use the Banishment to grab Ixchel to do the draw 2 and put more fodder in the grave. You absolutely can do it that way. There's nothing saying that you can't. So, but in this case, I want to get my lock going. So we're going to add the Asmodeus. And then Asmodeus, important to note, a bow can also bring back Christia. So you can use your turn to bring back a Twal, and then during their turn you can Christia lock them. So again, not super crazy, but anyway, Rahamu will go ahead and summon. Use your effect, use the effect of Asmodeus. If you weren't Christia locking, you could just bring back a Twal, and then you'll have a pretty formidable field either way. So, but in this regard, like I said, I just want to showcase what we do with one card. And now we're going to Fusion, pay the 1,000 life points. Again, I will always banish the Condemned, the Rahamu, and the Asmodeus. Obviously put that back in the top of the deck. And now you can summon the Christia here. And then you can Dejity banish, add the Golgolette, and then at the end of the turn you'll be left with a bow. So you'll be able to use, with just one card, Herald. If you have a second card which you can search with Evening Star, you can pop during the main phase. Obviously all your guys are can't be targeted, all your fairies can't be targeted, so they can't special, stop a spell and trap, pop a card. You can pop 2 cards, and if this is engraved, you can pop 3 cards. So spell and trap and negate, 3 destruction effects, so it can get pretty crazy. You can have a very similar result if we can have a very similar result if we open with just the one Melodious Refrain, and I can show you that combo real quick. It'll end a very similar board. So let's just open with one Refrain and see how that would go. And it doesn't eat up your it doesn't eat up your normal summon, so it's not the end of the world on it. Like, it eats your normal summon, but you'll still be able to get Dejity off, which is important. So um, sometimes, like I said, Ostinato is ash bait, so that's the most important thing there as well. Because we can activate more than one a turn. So if they do that, it's good. So to do the 1-card combo with Refrain, you would just go Refrain, add Couplet. You obviously cannot reveal. That's fine, but you'll use Couplet's effect. We will add now the Concerto. Concerto will now summon the Baka, send both of these. Now you'll Baka, and then you chain block with both of these to put in your spell and trap zone. I don't know what's going on with this advertisement here blocking it, but it is what it is. So we're moving these into spell and trap. Baka will now summon Refrain. And now what you want to do before you link off or do anything, you're going to use Refrain on targeting the Baka, because when Baka goes to grave, you want to be able to summon Refrain. So we'll do this. So now we'll send this to grave. This goes to the extra deck, and we will summon Condemned Darklord. Now you will use Baka's effect and then Concerto's effect. So this will go in the bottom of the deck. This will special. So let's draw our 1 card. Oops, drew 1 too many cards. So now you have 1 card. So what you're able to do is use Condemn's effect. We're going to grab the Dejity. And now you could do this in 1 of 2 ways. I think instead of wasting extra deck monsters, we'll just summon the Refrain, Pendulum Summon, and then we'll go exactly the same line that we had before. We go into B Cop, use the Condemned, the B Cop. Now we'll go the Abow, the Abow's effect, pitch, and now we'll summon, and now we'll have the full combo, which is the Dejity, Dejity summoning. So your whole entire lineup will still be, you'll still end up on basically the exact same thing, except the other combo with Ostinato, you can end on a Twal and all of this. So this is generally what the field will look like. And just like the same combo, and you'll end up with Golgolet in your hand. Again, this is just off 1 card. Refrain or Ostinato. Ending on all this is insane. I think there's amazing value in this. So let's see what happens if we just start with a normal 5-card hand real quick and how that would look like. So in this case, sometimes you do get some clumping. If you're going second, you know, not as bad. Going first, that's terrible. So there is more prone to bricking in this version of the deck. So if you're gonna do Couplet here, it's kind of risky if you do Couplet and they droll you. So I would always recommend starting off with Banishment first and grabbing the Dejity. And if they ash here, then you can still do, you know, not ash, but droll. You still have the called by, all that. But important to note, before you summon, use the Couplet. And the couplet will let you, so you're going to get your Melodious Concerto. And what's nice with this version is you have another way to play. So let's say we summon the Dejity, and sometimes what might happen is they might play Harmonia and bounce back the Golgolet you summon. Okay, well, now you have options. So if they pop the Dejity and bounce back the Golgolet, Concerto is still a fusion card, so you can use the Golgolet plus the token and still continue off your combo. So this is completely, it can be a lifesaver sometimes. So it can definitely help. Well, that's all I got for you guys on this. If you have any other questions, please comment, like, and subscribe. I'm a new channel, and I'd love to keep improving. Thank you.